Good morning. Welcome to the Kila Chari Torah Halacha review for Thursday, the 28th of January. Today is Tu B'Shvat, so Chag Sameach. Whether or not you're a tree, the Torah also tells us, asks the rhetorical question: is a person not like the tree of the field? There are many similarities, parallels that we'll discuss, that we discussed a little bit at our Tu B'Shvat Seder last night, and perhaps we'll have occasion to talk about them a little bit more. In any case, today, the entire Jewish people, every Jew you know, every Jew you don't know, as we mentioned in days past, observes Tu B'Shvat in its fullest sense by not saying Tachnun. Nobody says Tachnun today, nobody at all. So just remember not to say it, and you're in full compliance with Tu B'Shvat. And again, if you get a chance to eat some of those fruits that we spoke about last night, you can eat them today also, as is customary but not required. Since it is, however, 30 days before Purim now, we're at the 15th of Shvat, so we're just 1 month out from Purim. Purim's going to present some unique challenges this year, as everything else has, in this topsy-turvy year of COVID. So we're going to start today with reviewing the laws and customs of Purim, with an eye towards doing our best to fulfill all of our mitzvahs up to and including Purim, and of course not knowing at this point what the parameters will be in terms of public safety, if we're allowed to even gather for a minyan, or if we'll be restricted to doing it on Zoom. That remains to be seen. So let's keep in good touch, and we will see where the provincial and municipal laws leave us. The first that we're going to read from this book that we read last year, the Art Scroll, Laws of Purim, a pocket-sized handy-dandy guide. You can pick this up at the Jewish bookstores. I got this as an Israeli source. Not sure if they're open, maybe for curbside delivery, or have it mailed to you if you'd like to follow along. Chapter 1 talks about Parshat Zachor, the Parsha of Remembrance. There's a biblical requirement to hear Parshat Zachor read once a year in order to remind us what Amalek did to the Jews many years ago, and that we have a mitzvah to erase the name of Amalek. What is Parshat Zachor, you ask? It's three verses from Deuteronomy. If you look in chapter 25 of Chumash Devarim, of the book of Deuteronomy, verses 17, 18, and 19 are the portions in question. If you happen to have your Art Scroll Siddur at home, at the end of Shacharis, right after Shacharis, on page 176, 177, there is a selection of Torah passages there called the Sheish Zechiros, 6 remembrances, 6 things that we're supposed to remember every day. Some people, in fact, we do not say these after davening in shul. Some people include this as a supplementary reading for themselves after Shacharis in the morning, along with some of the other passages here, which, now that we have lots of time, would be a good thing. The middle one, the largest one, is these 3 verses from Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verses 17, 18, 19. I'll just read them to you so you know what we're talking about. It says as follows: Remember what Amalek did to you on the way as you departed from Egypt, how he encountered you on the way and cut down the weaklings trailing behind you while you were faint and exhausted. He did not fear God. It will be that when God, your God, lets you rest from all your surrounding enemies in the land that God, your God, gives you as a heritage to bequeath, you are to erase the memory of Amalek from beneath the heavens. Do not forget. Pretty strong admonition there. So what we do to remind ourselves of the mitzvah is to take out a Sefer Torah on the Shabbos right before Purim and read this. Now, that may or may not be possible this year. We're not sure. So pay close attention, and we'll talk about what we do in Shas HaDachak, in a case of difficult times where we may not be able to make it to shul to fulfill this. Me'ikar hadin, says the Rosh, Rabbeinu Asher, say others, one should hear the reading of Parshat Zachor in the presence of a minyan, and according to some of the poskim, hearing this in the presence of a minyan is also a requirement, so we do have to convene a minyan if possible. Of course, if it's in violation of provincial policy, we would not do it. The Torah reader, whoever's reading this passage from the Torah, should have in mind that he's reading the Parsha on behalf of those listening, and those listening should have in mind to fulfill the mitzvah of remembering Amalek, as we just described. And some say that you also have in mind this with the brachas before and after. There is a dispute amongst the poskim whether women are obligated to hear Parshat Zachor. You'll notice that this is one of those mitzvot aseh shehazman grama. This is a positive mitzvah that's occasioned by a certain time of the year. Therefore, perhaps an argument could be advanced that women are exempt from this. However, there are those who say that they should nevertheless, because this is incumbent upon all Bnei Yisrael. So, as it happens, many women make a valiant effort, their words, not mine, to hear the reading of Parshat Zachor in the presence of a minyan. Many shuls have the custom to arrange a second minyan of Parshat Zachor to accommodate those who could not be there for the first minyan. If any of the options prove difficult, a woman should read Parshat Zachor at home from a chumash. So there you have it. You open up your chumash that you have at home to these three verses toward the end of Parsha Kisavoy, and you read them to yourself out loud, Hebrew and English. If you can English, you should. It should be in a language that you understand. An alternative to this is that as a woman, anyone, woman or man, can attend the Torah reading just before the reading of the Megillah on Purim morning, when we read the Parsha recounting the war with Amalek. We're going to read Vayavo Amalek for our Purim morning reading. When listening to that reading, it also mentions Amalek, not in exactly these words that we just said here from the Siddur, but in slightly different formulation. And we have in mind to fulfill our obligation. Of course, the Torah reader has the intention to fulfill the chiyuv of the listeners with that. Again, we're not sure what's happening on Parshat Zachor. We're not sure what's happening on Purim morning itself. So stay tuned. We will make every effort to ensure that everyone who wants to fulfill the mitzvot in the best possible way will have the opportunity to do that. Please, God, in good health. B'simcha u'v'tuv levav. Have a good day. Join us again tomorrow.